Kentucky Oaks Day at the Kentucky Derby. Churchill Downs sitting next to a legend, an icon, covering his 9th Kentucky Derby. Mike Tirico, welcome and thank you.
Hi, K.A. It's so great to see you in person. How you been?
I'm wonderful.
Good.
I'm excited to be here. The vibes high as always
I know.
on Kentucky Oaks Day. You've covered everything. Luge, gymnastics, swimming, basketball. What is it about the most exciting 2 minutes in sports that make it unique?
It's a really good question because if you think about it, there are a lot of people who don't watch any other horse race but this one. And yeah, that's fine. Mm-hmm. That's okay. So our task is a little bit different, right? We want to make sure that we are respecting the person who's watching every race during the year that they want to see and getting to the biggest one of the year, the one that's remembered the longest, and at the same time not alienate the people who've never watched horse racing or watch one race a year or go to a derby party. That is, to me, the magic of this event. The party that happens here has grown exponentially and now has gone beyond these walls, beyond this city, everywhere. I mean, if you are fortunate enough to be a member at a golf club or a country club or have a group of people, everybody has derby parties. Like, I don't know why. Like, they may have never been to the derby. They may have never watched a horse race, but they'll have a derby party. They'll make a pool. They'll pick a horse. They'll throw in a buck or two and bet, and they'll have a great time. So this has become a bucket list event to attend, in part because so many people have a good time in their own house watching the Derby. It's pretty cool.
And how lucky are we that we get to be a part of it?
Gosh.
You, 8 times, now you're 9th. If you remember, everybody remembers their first Derby.
Yeah.
When you think about that, what comes to mind?
So it was a little overwhelming professionally for me. Bob Costas, as he did with everything, was great at being the host of the Derby. And then I was hired at NBC, and I thought when I was involved in the Derby, it would be more of that role, kind of hosting, being around the track, and not sitting on the desk and talking horses. Tom Hammond did that job for many years with unbelievable ability. Tom's somebody who I don't think is respected enough outside of our industry for what he did. He's one of the great broadcasters of all time, football, basketball, but especially horse racing. Tom had a background in equine science. I don't. So I wasn't really sure that I was the right fit for this, and maybe some folks think that I'm not even today. But over time, I've come to appreciate the event, learn a lot, and really appreciate the horsemen who are in the back, on the backside, taking care of the horses. You've been here, you see it. They love these horses and these animals and these equine athletes. And you look at that term, and that sounds like student athlete. It sounds like a term that's just kind of used and doesn't make... No, these are athletes. They are so special to the people involved, and I've come to learn to love the people around the sport and what makes it whole. So for me, that first one was nerve-wracking, and then the second one, Justify, started his run to the Triple Crown in 2018, and we had 3 inches of rain, the rainiest Derby ever, and we could be in store for a rainy Derby tomorrow.
I know, I can't wait. I just think it makes it that much more interesting here at Churchill Downs. I'm looking at the field. By the way, you prep so much, you only get to hand it off for 2 minutes. Larry does his thing, then you get it right back. I don't know if are you eating in those 2 minutes? Anything? What happened?
Those 2 minutes? Yeah, those 2 minutes you're trying to remember everything. You're looking at every horse to see what kind of trip every horse is getting all at once, and then you realize you're looking at everything and you're remembering nothing. It's really a scatterbrained couple of minutes as the race comes. I will tell you this. I think I may have left my phone back in the office, but I take my phone out when they come by the turn. Our set is on the first turn.
Yeah.
And you have all 20 horses closely packed right as they start. I take out my phone and take the same picture every year of those 20 horses and the Twin Spires. I've got a whole bunch of them. Someday I'm going to put a collage of all of the same picture together. It's just one of the great moments in American sports, and I always want to be able to look back and remember how privileged I was to have a seat, because if we're sitting right where Kay and I are, they're coming right around here. They're coming right at you with the Twin Spires. It's the dang coolest thing going.
Yeah, at some point you'll make a collage, but not anytime soon, because you are so busy, Mike. Go ahead.
But it's also it's fun, and you know this about being at events sometimes. It's fun for us to unplug for 30 seconds and be a sports fan.
Yeah.
And take it in and lose that real hyper focus for a second and just appreciate where you are and what you're doing.
No, Mike, if I was doing the lead broadcast for NBC Kentucky Derby, I would not take 30 seconds of 2 minutes celebrating being a fan, but that's why you are goated, and that's why everyone loves and appreciates your work so much. If you look at this field, we already have scratches. I was trying to do research, and then I said, to heck with it, because everything's going to change until the Derby actually happens. Rain to consider, but if we look at the field, what sticks out to you?
So journalism certainly does, because the horse is a clear favorite, right? And you'll go years where you have a group of 3 or 4, but most of the folks around believe journalism is a clear favorite. However, there are significant stories and the way the race plays out that you can see other horses like Sandman coming along. It will be interesting to see many horses that are fast, quick, early pace. If that happens, it could be a repeat of last year, where it was what the folks in racing like to call a pace meltdown, and it just left it wide open for a horse to come through at the end. Very often that is what happens at a Derby, because the excitement, the enthusiasm, go to the lead, all of that stuff. I think the most interesting storyline that's happened in the last 24 hours is that the horse that was on the outside looking in, Baeza, who'll be horse 21, got in the field. I know Jerry Bailey and Randy Moss, my partners on the air, and others think Baeza may be the second best horse in the entire field. So rare that you get, okay, here's another horse coming into the field. That horse jumps up in quality. Where that horse's odds are now, and where those odds will be come 10 minutes before post time, I think it's going to drastically change.
Over under on how many journalism puns will be told in NBC's coverage?
So, I'm going to limit them. I'll let other people have it. I think it's become that worn out, tired joke already. There's also a horse, the 15 is publisher.
Oh.
So everybody's talking about the journalism publisher exacta. Like every interview I've done, that question has come up. It's almost become like the bad dad joke of this week's Derby. Journalists saying, hey, the journalism publisher Daily Double, or exacta, excuse me, is a perfect one. I've been fond of saying journalism is the favorite. Those two words, journalism and favorite, really don't often end up in the same sentence.
Fair.
In 2025, but journalism's having its moment, at least in the run-up to this Derby.
At least here, yeah. Very well said. Does Chris Collinsworth ever come to this?
Oh, yeah, he's...
Interesting. Is he here?
Time's it now. He probably got here about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I feel like I've never seen him at the Derby.
All the time.
Like in the shadows? How does he pull that off? I feel like nobody can hide here at the Derby.
No, Chris is here all the time. Chris doesn't hide. It's hard to hide Chris. Chris and his wife Holly are here all the time at the Derby. Chris has been longtime great friends with Mike Battaglia, who has set the morning line odds for the Derby for a couple of generations now. And we'll see Chris and his wife for dinner probably Saturday night after the race. We usually do. He loves the races. I mean, living in Cincinnati, right over the border in Kentucky, he's really been around horse racing since he's been a Bengal. So he has been a frequenter of the Derby very often. He'll be here. You ever run into Kirk Herbstreit here?
I have not.
Herbie is always here.
I'll notice the puppies.
I don't know if the dog will make it, but Kirk is always here. He loves the Derby. Matter of fact, when we were doing Thursday Night Football on ESPN, way back in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, Kirk, let's see, it was me, Kirk, and Lee Corso. I'm pretty sure Lee was with us. Yes, he was. We were doing a Thursday Night Football game at Louisville.
Wow.
And we came over on a Wednesday, and they were just running a regular middle of the week card, and we came over and watched the races. And that was the first time I came to Churchill Downs. Was with Herbie. I talked to him the other day. He loves his horse racing, and he'll be here with his crew all weekend as well.
I feel like we need to make TikToks when these things happen. You guys all get together. It's so under the radar, Mike.
Well, we got a lot of NFL folks who are here. It's that time in the league year, right, where the draft is over, mini camps are starting, but guys like to get out here. We've seen Brady over the years with his crew, and Aaron Rodgers.
He's here. They're here.
Aaron, they love to come and just get away. And the Derby, you can have one of those great guys' weekends and hang and enjoy the camaraderie, which is really cool. It's what has helped. Look, presence of people like that have made the Derby even more of a bucket list event.
Patrick Mahomes, of course, a couple of years ago was here. Do you think that you've had your last pre-production SNF meeting with Aaron Rodgers?
I hope not. I thought his comments about personal life and those other things kind of encroaching on the space of full dedication to football were an indication that it might be the end. In my soul, I want to see Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh, because I always think Mike's teams, Tomlin's teams, have a chance to win almost every game. And to be candid, since Big Ben has not been there, that one play a game that the quarterback makes, that's an unscripted play that wasn't covered Monday through Saturday, he needs somebody to make that play. And Aaron showed at the end of last year he can still make that play. I would love to see that marriage of, you don't need to score 30 with the Steelers. You need to score 22. You need to score 19. Just get us down in position for a game-winning field goal. I still think he can do that often enough that I'd love to see that marriage happen. But as we get now to May, my confidence of that happening has diminished significantly.
Maybe it's a retirement party they're having here at the Kentucky Derby.
And you know what? If you're going to have a retirement party, it's a hell of a place to do it.
I'm going to do a little change up here.
Okay.
Usually we talk NFL,
Yep.
but you're, of course, the lead voice for NBA on NBC. I saw today Pop making the transition.
Yeah.
I would just like to know, if you could just put into perspective, for me, a casual NBA fan, obviously I know the NFL much better. What has he meant to the NBA? And of course, he's not going anywhere. He'll still be the president.
Yeah, first of all, I just hope his health is good, because he's such a good person. So my NBA time at ESPN started when we got the contract there in 2002 and 3 and went till the end of my run. So I had maybe 13 or 14 seasons of covering the NBA. And that was right in the San Antonio run. We had their titles. Matter of fact, their titles in the mid-2000s, I did the trophy presentation, and I'm lucky enough to have this great picture of me, short as I am, looking even shorter, as I have Tim Duncan on one side, David Robinson on the other side, Duncan holding the finals MVP, and David holding the championship trophy, the Larry O'Brien trophy. Being around Pop those years was a treat, because you go into Gregg Popovich's office, and very often the conversation was not about basketball. It was about politics. It was about Russia. It was about trends in sports, things in America. He's one of the most intelligent, smart people. Like talking to Pop and talking to Steve Kerr, those were just those mentally enriching, expanding life conversations that you crave as an adult. And I think that's why Pop and what he built in San Antonio was so special. Think of that worldly connection of Duncan from the Virgin Islands and Tony Parker from France and Ginobili from Argentina, right? That whole group, and David being around. They had some really special people who were not first overall picks either, when you look at Manu and Tony especially. So I love what he built in San Antonio and that whole culture world, and then brought it to USA Basketball as well along the way. So special person, glad he stays involved with the Spurs. And when you think of Becky Hammon's success as a coach, sitting on the front bench, coaching in the Summer League, that's because Pop had the confidence. If you ever want to see a couple of minutes that make you tear up, go to YouTube and watch Becky Hammon's Hall of Fame speech, where she talks about Gregg Popovich. It's so dang cool. And we're going to see at some point a woman coach an NBA team, and it will be because of the leap of faith Gregg Popovich made. Jenny Busek, who's an assistant coach on the front bench with Rick Carlisle in Indiana, she could very well be that individual. Whenever it does happen, it'll be because of Pop and his confidence in people who are smart and can do it. And that's one of the legacies of that man that'll last forever.
Beautifully said. I know you have to go. You have so many things to do, but I will ask you, as you are Mike from Queens. Mike Rapoli's out.
I know.
Horse scratch, no Pletcher.
My man Mike from Queens.
You are the Mike from Queens of note.
Yeah.
Your Knicks look pretty good. Brunson looks pretty good. How far can they go?
So I do have to point out, 13 years of doing the NBA made me team agnostic, that I don't root for anybody. Secondly, I've lived in Michigan for the last 26 years. So as a Knicks, a team that I watched when I lived in New York against the Pistons, team that I've watched in my backyard for 26 years, I thought J.B. Bickerstaff did a great job with that team. That team was so exciting to watch. That series was what I remember NBA playoff series. That was a great series. There was anger, there was intensity, there was terrific defense, there was shot making. And last night after Game 6, the mutual respect amongst those players, here Asar Thompson was in Jalen Brunson's face, guarding him nonstop for possession, chest to chest. picking up 75 feet. And when they were done last night, there was such a hug of respect. I'm like, that's good. That's what NBA basketball in the playoffs is about. And I'm salivating for next spring when we get to be back and be a part of that. But here's the question. Did that series toughen the Knicks to be ready for a deeper fight with the Celtics? Or did it take too much out of them because Boston has been able to eject quicker and kick back? If Tatum and Brown are healthy, hard to go against the Celtics and Porzingis as well. But that could be a heck of a series because the Knicks just cannot be killed. They show up every single possession. And I love that about that group.
I literally cannot wait. You're talking about salivating. Every fan listening right now cannot wait for you to get back to your NBA roots, shall I say, and to get back into it.
It is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, but you've got work to do tomorrow. Tell us a little bit about the coverage. When we can. I know you sat down with Bob Baffert, which is incredible. Tell us more about tomorrow before you go.
Bob, banned from the Derby the last 3 years by suspension from Churchill Downs, has returned with open arms. Churchill Downs has been very welcoming to him. We'll talk to Bob about that, about if he wishes that he would have said he was sorry earlier. That'll air during our coverage. I have a bunch of features on our coverage on NBC, 2:30 Eastern. We have 6 races as well, including the Kentucky Derby. And, you know, all the stuff, the hats, the fashion, the bourbon, all that fun stuff that makes the Derby. As you have your Derby party with us, make your own picks at home, and come hang and have a good time.
A legend, Mike Tirico. We appreciate it so much. We will be right back with Xavier Liggett.